Good morning, everybody. It is 5:30 a.m., 5:45, 5:50 as a matter of fact, a.m. This is your boy Ray, your best, the favorite, teaching you, learning, experiencing. This is my journal, so you're experiencing things with me. Excuse the light. I'm driving, and I'm on my way to Walmart. I'm on my way to work, but I'm on my way to Walmart. I'll tell you what's going on. Okay. I'm building up a menu for the side hustle I'm trying to have back home, Puerto Rico, of food. I'm gonna sell some food and stuff, and I'm trying to create the menu in the best way possible. Okay. But once you get the idea of what kind of menu you want, like let's say you want to do Asian, you want to do Hispanic, you want to do seafood, or keto, non-keto, whatever. Once you get the idea of that, you have to then build a menu. And I'm gonna build a menu, but I have to go through the course. I need to find out. Sorry, this camera is falling apart. You know, not the camera, the stand. Let me see what I can do here. Give me 1 second. Well, the stand fell apart, and I can't fix it now, so I'm just driving this way. You know, bear with me. Like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna learn some good stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay, like I was saying, I come up with the menu, then I have to come up with the price to see how much is each item gonna cost me? What's the food gonna cost me? You can't just throw things out there. How do you price it? You know, big restaurants, they have these big formulas, mathematics, but the smaller ones, us that just want to make ends meet, you know, a little hot dog stand or food carts, we have to do things to make sure it works. We have to figure things out. So I learned this from an old man. This is the oldest thing there is, but I learned the old man because you can do this for your own home or you can do it for work, for business. For example, this old man, he had like 10 kids. He always lived off the system. He worked for a little bit, and then he started unemployment, EBT, Social Security, and everything until he was old. You know, so he had to run a household. He wanted to make sure he could pay all his bills, even though he didn't have many. He wanted to make sure he had money to feed those kids, those girls, the many girls. They were all girls, and in a most economical way, make sure his money lasted. So he would write everything he purchased down in the price, and he would calculate how much it costs. For example, he told me, look, I just figured out, Ray, that I bought this month's grocery shopping didn't last long. You know, so he made a study. He says, okay, this month it lasted longer, last month it didn't. Last month I was purchasing, I always purchased X amount of deli hams and cheeses, he said, for his girls to have sandwiches in the morning, you know, all day, because some of them didn't want to eat regular food because they, you know, I don't like this, I don't like, okay. And then he used to buy local Puerto Rican bread, which is it's our version or something like a French bread, you know, freshly done and toast and oven roast or whatever, fresh every day. So he would buy that. That would cost X amount of money. Then he calculated how much the bread costs, how many pounds of bread, because it gets sold by pound over there, pounds or yards. How many pounds of bread it would require every day how many pounds a day of bread he would consume, or his family would, and how many hams and cheese would take, you know, how long it would be gone before he had to buy more or what. And he told me, look, Ray, I noticed it was lasting me 1 week, the bread and the ham. He says, and then I did an experiment. I purchased not the French bread, but the American sliced bread, the one that already pre-packed in a bag. It is sliced. And he said, and I purchased the same amount of ham and everything, and the same amount of bread that I always buy, but instead of regular Creole bread, that we call it Creole bread, I would purchase it in French bread. He says, at the end of the month, it lasted me longer. You know, nobody complained about the availability of it. but they consumed it less. He says, I noticed that the reason I was running out of sandwiches earlier during the month, during the pay period, is because the Creole bread, the girls liked it most, so they consume it more. He says, I noticed that, so when I changed it to sliced bread, it lasted me longer, and at the end of the month, I was saving. He told me he was saving X amount of money, and this is an old man that never went to school. This is an old man that only had a second grade, if possible, in school. And he says, it lasts me longer, and then at the end of the month, I save X amount of money. At the end of 6 months, I save a lot more money. At the end of the year, that's this amount of money, and then I can buy my girls more clothing for school or for stuff. He was very frugal, but he knew a lot. And then it kicked me and said, wait a minute, so you can do these things for your own home. And basically what we're going to do today is I'm going to go to local Walmart and get pricings of some items I'm going to do a salad. I made a salad this morning for me for work, and I'm planning on some kind of a version of this salad to commercialize it, to sell it. But I need to find out what's it costing me and how can I get it more efficient and how can I make it better. For example, I use this one. I use a can of salmon I had as a protein, but I already had that can of salmon. Somebody gave that can of salmon to me because they didn't eat it, and I brought it over. You know, my wife doesn't eat it either. My daughter doesn't eat fish, and the kid doesn't eat fish. So I eat it only, and I said, how can I eat this? You know, what can I do with it? So I decided to put it on a salad. It brings the protein cost down to 0 because it was free. However, I have to calculate it for if I use it in the future to resell it, how much it's gonna cost. Even if I get the can for free, I gotta know how much it costs so I can know how to price it. And doing this, sometimes you find out, which is almost all the time is true, fresh meat, fresh protein almost always is cheaper than canned. Almost always. Some items are not, but in some it is. For example, if a can of tuna has like, I think it has more, I think it's about 9 ounces, but let's say 8 ounces, just to mathematically. If a can of tuna has 8 ounces of tuna and it costs average right now like $1, that means a pound of tuna is going to cost you $2. You know, you go to the supermarket, you're not going to find a pound of fresh tuna for $2. There's no freaking way. In that case, the can is going to cost you less. But how do you know this? Because you have to go there and do the math. But I don't think it's 8 ounces. It might be less. I'll check when I go today. I'll see the cans, and of course, I'll share it with you. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can get more of it. You can calculate the price of your items to sell, the price of the items for your home. You can calculate everything that you eat this way. This way you know when you're getting overpriced, overcharged, or what. You can know what is cheaper, what is more expensive, what is quality, what is not. Right? Shrimp is more expensive than, let's say, chicken. However, shrimp is more expensive, but you don't use as much when you use for a salad. You use less because shrimp, you use less because it tends to be a little bulky, a little harder, a little bigger. It looks a little, and of course, it looks fancier. When it looks fancier, you can get better price for it. Things like that, because you know there's a few little tricks you have to try when you resell it. I suggest you're gonna put a little store, a little supermarket, a little food thing. I suggest you do something like this at least. You can learn. There's a lot better ways to do it. There's a more professional and more accurate ways to do it. But I'm gonna show you the layman's terms, how I do it, until I can get an average, and you can know what you can charge, what you can't charge, whatever. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna do this real good together. Hello, everybody. Yep, here we go. I just arrived at the local Walmart. Why I went here? Because it's open at 6 o'clock, and I'm just looking for price. I'm not intending to buy. Yeah, I bought my wallet just in case, but I'm not intending to buy. I'm just gonna check some price, show you the formula how to do it, how I do it. Okay? You have to calculate price because you gotta save money. Let's do a little bit of this people. Let's do a little bit of the people watch. As you see, it's starting to snow here. It's February and it's starting to snow. Yeah, the sniffles and everything. Look at that bird. He's hiding. Yeah, this car works. The majority don't. Here we go. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna look for some onions real quick. Real quick. I'm gonna do this as quick as possible. You don't want to see them too obvious. For example, onions. It says here red. Of course, that's not red. White and yellow. The prices are wrong. There's a red one. Look what it is. 118 a pound. See that? $1.18 a pound. Onion white. This is the only one that's accurate. See? It says $1.49 per pound. You see that number on the orange? That's the number you gotta look for. Don't follow that other one, because that one kind of tricky sometimes. See what it costs per pound. The meat and everything. Look for it. Mushroom. Look what the mushrooms cost. See? $3.44 a pound. Show you some more. Look. Let me show you an example. For example, red cabbage. $1.12 a pound. Right? The green cabbage, 82 cents a pound. See the difference right there? See the difference? It's still cabbage. What changes is the color.